Alrighty, everybody, welcome back, you bloody legends. We're here for some more CCL regular season, and I am here joined by Zep for what will be a banger matchup, and also a little bit of a reunite from us. Zep, it's been a while since I've casted with you, and I'm excited to do so, especially here in CCL.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Really excited to be working with you again and doing it here on the CCL of all places. A fantastic place to be casting because it always shows up some fantastic teams and players and series. And we're hoping that we're going to have all three of those here tonight, as it's Kennesaw CoD versus FIU Panthers. I do hope I've pronounced those right. Please let me know if I pronounced them wrong.
Terrifies me every time when I'm pronouncing an American name, man.
I know. We're outsiders. We're outsiders. I mean, I'm Irish. What can I say? But I mean, look, I'm hoping for a terrific series here tonight between these teams. I mean, if those stats are correct, both of these teams currently unbeaten, 6-0. I mean, one of them has to fall tonight. I'm very curious to see which one it's going to be. And yeah, just hoping for a terrific series from that. Will it be an absolute bang out that goes all the way, or a swift 3-0? Who knows?
I was about to touch on these stats as well. Hardpoint 9-0 and 7-0 for both of these teams. 6-0 flawless record from Kennesaw CoD in the control. So, I mean, I got to say, both these teams, of course, being undefeated is very good. We got a little bit more shaky if we're being, a little bit nitpicky from Panthers in the search and control. Definitely not as insane in their search as they are in hardpoint, but that's kind of what you come to expect from a lot of teams, right? They scrim hardpoint non-stop, or play eights, and it's always hardpoint. You get a bit of search in there, not really as much control, and that's kind of what you see develop. Kennesaw looking very consistent, though, with their 6-0, so I mean, they're looking pretty good. We don't really know until they play each other, and that's kind of the beauty of it, where you can't really make a solid prediction, because they might be 6-0, but the teams they might have versed, they might have found easier or more difficult than others, and by the time they come and face each other, we've got 6-0. And I believe the whole day, we pretty much have flawless teams, except for one, I think, is 5-1, which is the next match up as well. So it's going to be an absolute banger of a day for College CoD, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are ready. Let's take a look at the maps we got for this series and see how that's going to play out. I know that they've had some interesting bans in the past, and for once, a very different set of maps that we kind of come to expect in these CCL matches. I feel like we see a lot of Vault and Skyline, which we do have here, 2 Vault and 1 Skyline, but the Hassie and Red Card, especially for Hardpoint, Red Card Hardpoint, have not had the pleasure of casting yet. So interesting if it goes the distance, Seb.
Yeah, I mean, it is just an absolute blessing not to have to see a triple Vault. I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of the times I've had the opportunity to cast over Black Ops 6, I have been seeing Vault left, right, and center. And granted, as you say, it is appearing twice here, but more so towards the back end if we do go that far. But as you said, another map that we do see a lot is the Skyline Hardpoint, which will be first up. One thing to note about that map, it is chaos. It is small, it is fast-paced. The spawns, they matter, but not so much as other maps. I mean, it really is just a map that I think relies on slaying out. You have to start off warm, you have to be going quick, you have to have your gun up and just be able to catch your opposition off guard and slay out the angles if you want to come away with the win. Just being able to play the objectives or the rotations or trying to control the map based on the angles, that doesn't work. You got to get aggressive if you want to win it. And then, of course, with a Hassie and the search and destroy, it's nice to see a Hassie end in. Again, it's a little bit of variety, and it's something that you touched on. There's a bit of variety in the map pool that we have in this series, and then obviously a Vault Control, a little more run-of-the-mill, a bit of an all-rounder map, and then Red Card Hardpoint. And as you said, you haven't had the opportunity to cast it yet. I haven't had the opportunity to cast it that much. It's a really, I think, unique map. I think it's a map that's growing on a lot of players as well as we go on, because there's a bit more tactics to the map. There's different ways you can play it, there's many different angles you can take when it comes to playing that map. And in my mind, at least, it plays a little bit more like a classic COD map in the sense of it's not a complete bang out. It's not about people dropping 50 bombs. The rotations matter. How you play the map matters, and sort of controlling the flow just goes beyond getting the kills. It's a sense of where you get the kills. That's where the important lies. But of course, we may not see that one because, as said, Skyline Hardpoint first. I'd be really curious to see, with both of these teams being flawless, they clearly will be feeling confident on this one, and I want to see who's going to start off stronger.
We're about to find out. Map number 1 underway now, Skyline Hardpoint. I think it's going to be a very interesting map, as it will tell us exactly what we're looking to see between these two teams, how the gunnies are going to be hot. As you said, they need to be warm, they need to be shooting, and I think this is the biggest test, right? The Skyline or Vault is a great map to see how the teams are going to perform. What kind of trends are we going to see throughout this series? So I'm excited to see it. The Skyline Hardpoint. I'm going to be looking for those rotations. You need to have that P1, P2 rotation really locked in if you're going into a Skyline. And then, of course, the back of the P3, P4 is really important as well to string together. It's a lot of chaining hills, right? Like, I feel like traditional CoD maps, we didn't see that as much, where you really have to be on the rotations. You really have to get to new. And if you lose it, you just go, okay, cool, we're going to run across the entire map and go to the new hard point and set up there. But due to how these maps are, due to them being smaller, the COD's being more fast-paced, you can really get away with having back-to-back hills and rotations where you can manipulate the spawns really well and set up for that. So Skyline, in my mind, is one of those maps that really comes to show how, how quickly you can change and adapt to a lot of these situations. And that's something that COD players didn't really have to have as much in the past, where it was really looking ahead, but in a different sense, right? Not trying to chain together these back-to-back kills, get this wave, go to the back, kill the next wave, then get spawns, then kill the wave that's coming to the next point. It was more just, it's a fight for new, then they spawn up, and then they try and break.
Yeah, and I mean, folks, we do have a quick reset of the map coming as well, which is why, if you're wondering why we're not underway straight away, that is why. We'll be underway very, very shortly, potentially even straight away. But as you said, with the Skyline Hardpoint, again, one of those maps, I mean, I've been seeing it more and more with this map, that we're seeing a lot of these hills broken from the front. It is very, very hard in this game, but especially on this map, to actually retain a hill. I think it's especially because of that Omni movement. There's a lot of variety in the ways in which you can push a hill, to whether it's taking someone off a head glitch or just kind of breaking their aim, cameraing them, whatever you would call it. And especially in this P4 that you're seeing here, I mean, so many times now I was playing this game, and you know, we're casters, we play the game, we're trying to learn and understand so we can do what we do here. And a lot of the times you're thinking route one is try and hold those spawns, but so many times now we're seeing teams who actually don't get the spawns for P4. They just rotate straight from kitchen, straight from P3, and as a 4 they just break from front, right? Because you're guaranteed the player who's going to be holding the spawns is going to be playing quite far removed from the play, deeper back. If you just 4 push that front or just pinch it correctly, if anything, you can get into hill, hold it from front, and then have a direct line of sight as to everyone who's going to be coming out from spawn. So even though the spawns have you really close to the hill, or at least one wave, you can run the risk of actually being spawn trapped around the back. So spawns in this map aren't the be all end all, which I think a lot of teams will like, a lot of teams will hate, but from the way that these two teams, I imagine they play, given the fact that they're flawless and hardpoint, they're going to be happy with that, because being flawless and hardpoint at this stage in the season, that can only mean one thing: that you can play aggressively, that you can slay out. And again, the way you can chain these points together, like, one is a bit of an anomaly, as it always is, but if you can set up well for P2, slay out, get a couple of kills, angle yourself towards P3, next thing you know, you could be making your way to P4 and the other team has barely put a dent in their score, because you're just flowing through the map, you're getting the kills, and because of that and the way that you're sitting, the spawns can be super easy to read. I mean, when you're playing a P3, it is just a case of watching left, right, you know exactly where you need to be looking, which again just makes these breaks even harder.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? We see it. It's really onto how well you're shooting in a lot of these maps, and for some people they love it, for some people they hate it. It's a less tactical kind of play style, where it's more just rely on those guns and see where you can, you know, find these massive kills. And I think that's what's really interesting about Skyline. I mean, we can talk about the Hassie S&D as well, but that's a tried and true classic from BO4, onto a Vault Control as well, which seems to be the kind of fan favorite map. I guess the toughest thing about these teams as well is that the map's pool and the map selection isn't phenomenal for these players to really pick. So that's why we get some really interesting ones at times. And, you know, as you said, red card, some people are finding it a little bit more tactical, and they're finding more strategies. And I think at the start it was coming off very one-dimensional and very difficult to try and play. But more and more teams are making this more interesting as the season develops. And I think that's what we come to expect in a Call of Duty, right? It doesn't matter what you're given. Every year the players seem to make it work and find a strategy or solution that makes the game playable at a competitive level. And it's very interesting, their bans as well. Vault Hardpoint off the rip for Kennesaw CoD. They do not want to play it, which is quite interesting to me, because Vault Hardpoint seems to be quite a favorite for most teams, and maybe it's a bit of like putting them out of their comfort zone type of a ban.
And you know, you did touch on it as well with the red card hardpoint, how a lot of teams didn't seem to want to play it at the beginning. It was one of those maps where a lot of people were like, this is kind of my least favorite, potentially could it be rotated out? And as you said, as the season has gone on, as teams have recognized there's more to this map, it's become a favorite of teams who maybe prefer leaning on their strategies rather than the slaying ability, which I kind of think is a testament to the map in comparison to the rest of the maps in the game. I mean, we could go on all day about a vault search and destroy and how incredibly one-dimensional it can be at times, right? When it comes to that A push, you're very much going down the one lane. It can be rinse and repeat, and it's why search and destroy stats can be so all over the place, because you could just have it constantly be a swing round or two that makes the difference, rather than, you know, one team necessarily being more dominant than the other. But you go on to a red card hardpoint sort of, or even red card in general, in comparison to the rest of those maps, on its initial viewing, it's less likable because it's slightly more difficult, right? Whereas a lot of the maps, as we said, they can kind of be Route 1 at times. Yes, there's nuances in the way that you can play, but with the Skyline hardpoint, very simple. If you're just slaying outright, you could win. With the Vault Search and Destroy, as I just touched on, can be very one-dimensional. So that variety takes longer to learn, and as we get into this game one, how these teams go to learn and adapt to each other as we finally get it underway.
Wow, it's a long-awaited start for this map. We're finally in here, and already a 4 down for Panthers, shutting everything down from Kennesaw, and they're able to get on P1 and grab a bit of time here, set themselves up. Also with P2 spawns, so they're looking good so far to start off this match and at least get something going.
Yeah, absolutely. The Panthers just sitting at the moment, holding on to that point, holding the spawns, and it is up for Kennesaw CoD to try and go for the break, and you actually have Lutch going underground, I believe. Meanwhile, Miggy sitting on the point, just soaking up that time, and the Panthers in complete control at the moment, but this flank could come in and do a lot of damage. Bit of a checkerboard kill feed there, though, however, and Kennesaw CoD now being able to get the breakthrough with Lutch getting a big 2, and now just going to hold on to that scrap and try and push through. So the Panthers with a great hold, Kennesaw CoD proving now they can pick up the kills, get a wipe, and actually get onto this P2.
Yeah, it's a massive break off the back of Clutchy. Making the route. Was a bit scared. He got caught, but they get on in, and now they get the break onto P2. So they're at least able to swing things in their favor. And again, both these teams being undefeated in hardpoint, I wouldn't expect anything less. Both teams showing what they're made of right now. The Panthers come back on in on the break. Good route. Clutch trying to clean things up. It's not going to happen. And a blue kill feed ensues. So you've got 4 already stacked towards this point. They've killed another one as well. So you've got max 3 to push this hill and make this quite difficult for Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, Panthers done a good job of re-breaking and again keeping themselves in the lead. A small lead, albeit, but again, just 2 points deep so far. They're doing a great job of holding. And you have Relations sitting on 6-2 already. Snapple 10-4. The KD is looking strong from those two. Miggy trying to pick that up a little bit with 3-7. But across the board, you know, you go over to the other side, the KDs falling a little bit worse. Phantom currently 3-8. And no one really going positive as of yet. So you look at the slaying power. It is there for a couple of key players on Panthers. But again, super early doors yet. That can change, but again, you look at that slaying ability, which was a key point we analyzed coming into this map. It is Panthers who are slightly on top with that, and because of that, they are slightly in the lead going into P3.
Yeah, they're able to extend it. They can keep on re-breaking. Some good subby gunfights coming out from the side of Kennesaw, but it's just not the AR presence that we're seeing here yet. Still plenty of time in this match to get things going. Miggy now trying to push the hill. Maybe open things up. A nice 2-piece from him. Maybe one more. Wow. Just a last couple of bullets. Gets it and hangs on for Panthers. So this is some big damage that they're able to apply towards Kennesaw, and they cannot do anything to stop it. They've got to go to P4. They're chalking old. They've got 13 seconds of scrap here as well to extend the lead to about 70 points. Miggy's just kind of pushed to the back. Some good kills yet again from Miggy as he continues on that 5 spree.
I mean, Miggy must have heard that I was talking about that KD because it's instantly switched it up. Finally taken down off the 5 spree to go even at 9-9. But Panthers have been controlling this map so far. Kennesaw CoD have been picking up some nice kills here and there, but they've been scrappy kills. They've been kills where they've been attempting to break and maybe work 5 to 10 seconds from it. But Panthers, when they've been getting kills, they've been holding a point, they've been breaking a point, they've been rotating through for the spawns or the key positions that they want to hold. It has been all them in terms of controlling the balance and the flow of the map. This can be a huge point to hold as well to get a lot of time back, and Kennesaw CoD have the opportunity to bring themselves just about 20 or 30 points away from being in the lead here, as they'll also get ready for P1 after the fact, doing a good job now of holding off the Panthers. The first real sign we've seen of them have actually been able to hold off a strong Panthers push.
Still trying to come back in. Kennesaw doing a great job of at least grabbing some time there. Still a double point lead for the side of Panthers. Some nice kills come back. We're going back to P1 and a second set of rotations that Kennesaw wasn't quite having as much success as they'd like. A lot of P1 time went to Panthers. That P2 money hill was massive for Panthers. P3 as well. A lot of damage there to add on top of it. So a lot of kills going their way. Relations with some nice picks. He's 15 and 10. Doing pretty well with the help of Snapple, but no standouts so far. Everyone just doing their part for the side of Panthers as they go to the second set.
Yeah, and you have to give a lot of credit to the Panthers as well, going back to that P4. They made it scrappy. Kennesaw CoD had the rotation, they had the point, and should have had the hole, but Panthers were just constantly getting in there, making it awkward for them, but making sure they got way less time out of it than they should have. And with just over 20 seconds left now in this P1, this P2 is going to be crucial. The Panthers get a good hold in P2. They're within touching distance of coming away with the win. They'll be over well over the halfway mark at that point. And whereas Kennesaw CoD, you know, you're sitting on 53 points now. You haven't really held a hill cleanly except for P4, and even at that, you didn't really make much from it. But again, almost similarly to what we seen the last time they got onto P2, we have 3 kills, which leads to a break, but now they need to push out the back and get control of Kennesaw CoD. Huge wave of kills coming in that so far starts off well for Panthers.
Yeah, already getting that break. Massive. P1 time, not quite their way. Fortunately, Panthers break on in. Pinstripe kill feed. Phantom now looking to try and get maybe one more in. He gets stun checked. Now just slides out. No information on the player to the left. And they are staggering themselves trying to break this hill. You've got one player in the back, though. It is going to be Phantom. Juby, sorry. My apologies. Trying to get through. Maybe make something happen. Not quite. And Panthers continue to hold on to this lead and make this very indecisive for Kennesaw CoD. This is a team that was also undefeated in hardpoint 7-0. Currently undefeated in their series count. We're seeing a 100-point margin here, Zep, from Panthers, looking very, very consistent on Skyline.
Yeah, Panthers are looking scary at the moment, and the scariest thing about all that is that it is a team performance. You have Relations absolutely popping off at 21 and 11 with 1 minute 40 in Hill, but then you have Miggy and Snapple both with over 40 seconds in Hill, meaning that they are trading, actually holding the point really well. And then you just have Glee kind of bouncing around doing his own thing, and it's working for the side of the Panthers. Is over 100 points in the difference. Kennesaw CoD desperately trying to get some control of this map now, but that kill feed continuously blue, although a little bit of yellow in it there for the 3 and the 4. So they actually get in. They may be able to get a hold, and if they have a read of the spawns, which it looks like it does, they may be able to start chaining some kills and hopefully some hills together.
Yeah, they need a lot of work here. I mean, even off the back of all this time, if they're able to secure it, they've still got another entire hill difference between Panthers to try and make up here. They were really good on the P4 last time, but Glee has snuck through. Fortunately, Juby picks it up, so Panthers going to grab a little bit of scrap time here. Still need to try and make the break for P4. We've got one player, it's going to be Snapple, trying to make that awkward. He gets taken out, so Kennesaw should be able to lock up some good time here and at least make this competitive, because so far, not impressed with what I'm seeing from Kennesaw. Again, you don't know how these teams are going to play until you see them head-to-head, and Panthers winning just outright time and time again on this hard point.
Yeah, I mean, you have Flicks and Juby, who are very much doing relatively well on the KDs on the overall, but Flicks as well, nearly 1 minute in Hill for a side. So, you know, they do have players that are creating opportunities, that are trying, but again, I think it's just a key difference, and you hate to single out players, but you have a case of only two players popping off on the side of Kennesaw, whereas you have all 4 on the side of Panthers who are just doing what needs done and a little bit more. So you have a case of almost 2v4 in terms of the players who are really performing, and that is reflecting on the score line. And being able to perform like that KD wise, we talked about it with a hard point on Skyline. That will very much come into play, those KDs. You are not going to be able to do well in this map and be sitting with a negative KD. You have to be able to prove that you can slay out. But in saying that, a good hold on this point. If they're starting to feel themselves, if they've warmed up and they can hold well in this P1, rotate towards P2, they can sneak it. But it's reached that point now where they need to play a perfect hard point.
And that's the thing as well. You can see the slaying power on Kennesaw's roster. They're able to get so many impactful kills, 2, 3 pieces. It's just they're not playing as good a hardpoint as Panthers. They're able to lock in more impactful frags, more impactful kills, hold the points where it's needed. See Juby trying to get in on the point here with the AR, maybe make some damage. They need to lock in this P1 time. They know how important it is. And Panthers are being stunted a little bit. Maybe that slaying power is coming into effect a little bit more than what was once expected. And you can see Juby doing such a good job of staying down, playing his life on this point, but Glee comes out with a massive 2 and shuts that down immediately. And this 20 seconds is massive for Panthers, so they have to try and re-break, but P2 is all in their favor for the side of Panthers. So this could be the closeout here. We're going to need to see some big plays out of Kennesaw CoD. Someone make a route. The long route's coming through from number 2. It will be Flicks. Maybe he comes through and makes some damage. Gets towards the back line. This could be where the subby comes into play. Unfortunately, though, gets shut down. That might be the nail in the coffin for Kennesaw as they try and break on in with a mere AR in the back line.
Yeah, that was a huge kill in the back that did not go the way of Kennesaw CoD. And you have Flicks, who has turned up the numbers even more now for a side, 36 and 25. And I actually believe there may have been a disconnection now, maybe sort of understanding that the game was indeed out of their reach. But I mean, Kennesaw CoD, you have seen in the way that they were able to turn up on those last few hills as they got a little bit warmer. Now, once you pick up the kills, you can do some damage. So while they have lost this map number 1, they are for sure not out of this series yet. They're able to take it to their opposition, but for now, 250 to 164, they lost the map 1.
Yeah, and we take a look at those stats as well that we briefly saw at the start of the game. 4 and 2 for the side of Panthers for Search and Destroy, 5 and 1, I believe, for Kennesaw. So, will we see the same dominance on that Search? I'm not so sure. It's definitely up for debate, but yeah, not the greatest KDs. I mean, you got Mickey go 24 and 32, but it's the hill time that's standing out. Everyone played their part. Everyone had their time to get in time and really make an impact. And Panthers were just playing better hardpoint, all things considered. And it just goes to show that KD stats mean nothing. Because if you looked at the stats purely, you'd think that Kennesaw won it just off of all the kills that they were finding. But it really means nothing. You saw how quickly they were able to get off the spawn, get back into the P2 with those back spawns. And Kennesaw were just spawning so deep that they get staggered every time and they can't make enough kills to get the break. And it was just a repeat on every single hill, essentially. They had some good moments. They had P4. They had some good P1 time. They had a nice break on P2, one of those rotations. But, I mean, all things considered, Panthers were leading that match the entire time and were not letting go of it. They had the lead pretty much from start to finish. Looking consistent, looking good on the hard point. Search and Destroy, though, on a Hacienda as well. Very different playstyle, very different map, very different mode. Maybe we see something quite different here.
Yeah, I mean, it could be shaken up massively, right? And we did see Kennesaw CoD in the second half of that hardpoint really pull it back in terms of certain players and KDs, right? And then you have certain players who the numbers were lacking a little bit, but again, we're improving slightly and have plenty of room to pick up throughout the series. And going into a Hacienda Search and Destroy, I mean, it's as opposite as you can get, right? You have a way larger map. You have obviously the non-respawn mode. It completely switches things up. So if you're the side of Kennesaw, it gives you the opportunity to breathe. It gives you the opportunity to be able to say to yourself, hey, listen, we started off that hard point not right at all, and ultimately we ended it not strong, but definitely far better than where we came from. So you're growing into the series. Use this as a point to slow down, analyze your opposition, and just try and continue to grow. And most importantly, make sure that the Panthers don't gain momentum, because they will still be feeling themselves after that map 1. They played really strong as a unit, all 4 players popping off, contributing to the team. If they get a couple of early rounds under their belt and they really start to garner momentum on this map as well, then I think Kennesaw CoD is going to go into a map number 3, really not fancying their chances, especially with how all-encompassing that map is in terms of rewarding every quality, whether you're a long-range sub, or long-range AR player, short-range sub player. It's sort of an all-rounder type of map. So Kennesaw CoD, at the very least in this Hacienda Search and Destroy, they need to make it difficult and they need to do so early.
You know, I think that we also see Kennesaw are a very aggressive team, just relying on a lot of solo plays, right? You see a lot of players trying to make routes. The sub is trying to get in the back line, trying to do their job. The thing about it is that you don't have the rest of the team to back it up. They might get a kill or 2 in the back, but it's not coordinated with when the team's pushing the front, pinching it, making it difficult for them to deal with that player in the back. Instead, you get the 1, maybe 2 kills, and Panthers just kills them, and they have no players to follow it up. It's unfortunate. So coming to a Search and Destroy, I'm seeing a lot more of a tactical playstyle develop from Panthers. I mean, it's evident by the stats as well. I mean, 3 out of 4 going negative or 2 out of 4 going negative on the team, but still winning very comfortably by like 100 points is something that definitely shows that they have the game sense and the the tactical standpoint to pull it off. Coming into a Search and Destroy, that pays off quite effectively when a lot of teams don't know what they're doing. We've seen it time and time again in CCL and other aspects of CoD, where players just run forward, trying to make, aggressive plays, and they get caught time and time again because it's not a game mode where you can really get away with it, right? It's everyone's aware, everyone's alert. You can't be throwing your life in Search and Destroy. I mean, it sounds obvious in principle, but you'll be surprised how many teams just try and run it down on, coordinated teams that know what they're doing in Search and Destroy, and it never pans out for them. You'll see a 6-1, 6-2, and a clean map. And if we're going to see that map 4, red card, or even a map 5, Kennesaw will probably need to come out on top of this Search and Destroy. They were looking good in the control, but I'm thinking about a Vault control, and I'm thinking about how Kennesaw play, and I think that their real biggest hope is setting up a spawn trap. And even so, it's still quite difficult to do on a map like Vault because the spawns are quite deep. There's not a lot of angles and cover that you can get behind without really being deep in that spawn and kind of putting yourself out of position. It's kind of an all or nothing play, right? You can't really half be sitting in the back, cutting off the rotations, and also being deep in the spawn, trying to set up a spawn trap. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't know. I'm no Mystic Mac. I'm not predicting the future, but Kennesaw looking pretty good so far in what we've seen with the gunplay. Just need to step it up in the tactical department.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still really struggling to, in my mind at least, to try and see how they are actually going to play or what play style will suit them best. Because Kennesaw CoD at the beginning, you talk about the first half of that hard point, they did feel like at times that they were floundering as a team, even in the kills department, right? They were being completely dominated, but then you had a couple of players on their side really pop off and sort of sway that KD. And as you said, they were getting a lot of big moment kills. They were getting a lot of 3 downs, sometimes even 4 downs, whereas the kills from the other side, they were just a little bit more consistent, right? The Panthers were constantly getting 2 downs, making sure that the pushes were always going to be staggered, ultimately getting smarter kills towards the end, which suited how they were playing the hard point. So I don't know if Kennesaw would maybe revel in the chaos of a faster paced Search and Destroy, or if they're going to have to slow it down and play it tactical. We're going to find out as they get the first blood and the second here on round 1.
I mean, that aggression we talked about, it catches some teams off guard. Look at that. Immediately countered back by Snapple. He picks up 2. Now you've got a player running in mid that is trying to get out with a life. Juby, though, nice route around the side. Does pick up 2. Massive shots coming out from him. And I guess that's the danger, right? We saw 2 completely different play styles. One playing patient, looking for the trades. The other one, full aggression coming out. And those gunfights actually came swinging there for Kennesaw. So I'll eat my words. Maybe the aggression will pay off because a massive, massive round there from Kennesaw.
Well, I mean, look, if there's any time the aggression is going to pay off, it is going to be in either the first couple of rounds or the last couple of rounds. You're doing it in a way to catch a team off, but you can't keep relying on it because any squad that is decent, which we know the Panthers are more than decent at this stage already, they will have the ability to adjust to the opposition. If they know the aggression is going to come through consistently, they're going to have a way to counteract it. But we will see here how it fares them on the offensive side, if they're going to continue with the aggression or if they're going to play defensive and try and get that pick.
Wow, Glee coming in, 1 kill apiece. Rated out, 3v3. Biggie now trying to cut off this bomb, maybe potentially going towards A. And you've got another player there as well, Relations, looking for the picks where he can find them. And he's in a very awkward spot. Miggy trying to get some cover, but he has a sub. The shoulder's coming out. I think he hears him up close, knows that he's there. Juby not quite overextending yet. Could be a possibility. Bomb's still yet to go down as well, Zeb. So very, very slow passive round. They're looking to try and make sure that they can get this down for 3. But that's when Relations strikes. There's 1. Now looking for the second. Potentially, Miggy comes swinging as well, and they all collapse. Clutch. Last player left, 1 versus 3. Able to at least get 1 for the book. Shut down immediately.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers just played that round so well. I mean, that was a game of patience. It went aggressive to begin with. As you said, the lives were traded, and it just slowed down to a halt. But Relations pushing at the absolute perfect time. A little bit of COD timing there, perhaps. Or you could just argue that the patience did indeed pay off. But regardless, they got the round. They played the trades well as well. You love to see it. Once that first kill came in, they collapsed in around the point. So showing that once they have Kennesaw boxed in, they can do a lot of damage. We could very much see this map go round for round.
It could be blow for blow. We'll see. Each round playing out very differently to how I expected. I guess that's the nature of Call of Duty. You got to play going up top. Phantom might be able to find something, but he's the one who has to back off from the angle and allow someone to get through it. It's going to be Glee flicks as well off screen. Able to get a nice pick. He's going to try and overextend here as well. Run straight into the iron sight of Snapple. Relations as well, getting another pick. And that's where the overaggression causes an overextension, which causes the kills. And Juby and 1 versus 3 looking to try and play this out.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really going to be much that Juby can do here, and Panthers already have done a great job of adjusting to this game how they needed to. Again, you can argue that first round, nice pick by Juby, but he is going to need to get 2 more, and as I said, you can argue that that first round was just a little bit of Panthers being caught off guard, just trying to read how Kennesaw wanted to play. As soon as they understood how they wanted to play, they just adjusted appropriately, and Juby going to be going for this push now. It's going to need to pick up 2 big kills, but will probably have been spotted by this stun, and nearly actually picking up that kill. You know, if you had gotten that kill and not taken damage, it would have been pretty dangerous, but ultimately getting ripped there, and Panthers looking already like they have a little bit more control of this map.
Wow, and the snap from the man himself, Snapple. I gotta say, Panthers, this is what we came to expect. A little bit more of a tactical playstyle. I think Kennesaw just a little too one-dimensional here. Like, it might pay off. Panthers were a little bit lacking on the kill, the gunfight department. I mean, that is definitely not a case in point of that. Snapple with a very nice shot, but Kennesaw just trying to run and fight, and it just doesn't work when you do it time and time again. I like what they tried to do on the A in the second round. Maybe we'll see something again, but Relation's able to get up pretty close, pretty active. Trying to back out with his life, he's just going to get caught. And that's what you cannot do. Kennesaw with some nice patience, at least switching it up. Glee trying to make a route towards the back line as well. Now trying to stop this A plan. Be very dangerous.
Yeah, it's a tough position now trying to stop the plant, but again, evening the lies up now to make it 3v3, and Panthers, again, adjusting mid-round, recognizing that the patience will pay off against their opposition. The slower they play it, the more they realize that, yeah, we kind of know where these guys are going to want to go. We're just going to pick them as they move, as they're exactly doing here. About to get another. Glee got 1. The trade's coming in now, 3v1. Dobby, Juby, again, the last alive. Not the position you want to be in for Kennesaw, as he just can't move up whatsoever. I mean, he's been completely pushed back from his position.
Okay, he's making some moves. He's trying to get something done. 1v3 though, 20 seconds on the clock. Definitely not looking likely. Have to be a miracle. But I mean, again, Kennesaw had the right idea. Again, trying to make an aggressive play. We saw them running towards us. Why? You don't need to. You don't need to overextend like that. You don't need to get out of position. You've got 5 seconds to find these kills. He is not going to grab them. And Panthers lead 3-1 so far in the search and destroy. They're just ignoring the fundamentals again. And I understand it, but against Panthers, it's just clearly not working. And it's unfortunate. Snapple, the last kill, looking nice. 6-1 for Snapple as well. So, interesting series so far.
Yeah, I mean, Kennesaw just aren't adjusting, right? I mean, as you said, one-dimensional at the moment. I think it hits the nail on the head. Like, Panthers have adjusted their playstyle quite a lot, right? And they've had moments. They pushed up. They got first-blooded in that last round. You know, they're not doing everything perfectly, but they recognize when the chips are down that they need to pull back and rely on good old patience. We've seen it pay off now in multiple rounds, whereas Kennesaw, if anything, as soon as the round goes slower, it feels like they get more on edge. It's like they're more unaware of their timings, more unsure of themselves as what to do in moments. But picking up another first blood, again, with these first bloods, they're giving themselves the opportunities now. They just have to make sure to take them.
Yeah, you could see as well, like, even with a point like this, Panthers know exactly when to switch it up, when to play slower, and that's exactly what you mentioned. Unfortunately, though, going for that gunfight might cost them. Clutch with a nice kill there. 2 versus 4. Panthers now looking on the back foot, and this will be a massive round for Kennesaw to win if it goes their way. Biggie and Snapple now in the clutch, looking to try and swing this towards A. You've got to play their flicks, who might come from up top, might make this plant not a reality, be very much a nuisance for this Panther squad.
I like what Kennesaw have done here. They were very split apart, and they've actually split apart again into the original positions. I would have rather them stuck together, maybe play the trades, which is what I think Lutch and Juby are doing as they rotate out together, but going to get picked up by Snapple, who's going to look for the second here, but the stun coming in clutch. Miggy now 3v1 with that bomb down. Massive moment. Not going to happen for Phantom picking that one up, and Kennesaw, credit to them. Played a good round there again in a 2v4, played patient, let that bomb go down, and just got the job done from there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I was just talking about I need to play patient. I'm surprised, though, that Phantom didn't try and peek that bomb and stop the plan out there. I mean, you have the players to lose. I guess. But, you know, I'm not going to complain about it. It worked. It paid off. And I'm surprised that he won his gunfight with an AR. That's insane. You know, Subby's just living in an AR world, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it really is impressive that Kennesaw were able to at least recognize themselves there. They knew not to get over aggressive, even when they were in that kind of middle area trying to chell the B site. They knew not to get aggressive through connector and just play their lives. Make sure they're not throwing it, and that's what I like to see. So hopefully we get a little bit more of a competitive series here on the search and destroy. Make this a little bit harder for Panthers to get away with another map win and potentially win it themselves. And already Miggy getting caught off guard throwing those nades. Clutch. The aggression pays off. Relations gets dumped over the top by Phantoms. Gets taken out as well. And Kennesaw finding a bit of flow state here, all things considered, as they are left in a 2 versus 4 yet again for the side of Panthers.
I believe that is 3, if not 4 first bloods in a row here. We're going to be even up to 2v2. Some nice timing off the bomb. Panthers giving themselves a chance. And remember in that last round as well, all the gunfights that those last 2 Panthers players were involved in were 50-50 gunfights in the end up. So they have proven before that it doesn't matter what situation they are in. They can take these gunfights and be a real danger. But now Kennesaw CoD going to try and play a little bit of time here around the bomb. It is Glee who is going to have to get aggressive, picking up 1. That is huge. All down to Juby.
Yeah, and Juby left alone in 1 versus 1 gets caught. Unfortunately, don't know why he chilled out quite there. I guess he thought it was defusing. There's no information there, so that makes sense. Defuse comes through for Panthers. An unfortunate round for Kennesaw, a 4 versus 2 that they've won. And, I mean, I got to say, there was no blatant mistakes there from Kennesaw, at least from my memory, right? It looked pretty solid. They get the picks, they get the bomb down, they try and play post plant. And unfortunately, Panthers just shooting a little bit straighter in some of these gunfights, and it costed them. So 4-2, now 2 rounds away from taking this map. Panthers, Kennesaw need a round here to get themselves back in this and make this pretty good for themselves. But tough scenes so far for Kennesaw. Always on that back foot, always trying to climb the uphill battle. See if it pays off here.
Yeah, it is a huge round for them. And again, you know, that last round, as he said, it was one of those ones that could have gone either way. Didn't really play it wrong, but that is the nature of the beast when it comes to search and destroy. And as Panthers go to 4 push now this B side, we can see a very quick round before our eyes here as the lives are traded out for a 3v3.
Ooh, shots trying to come through. Having to back off. Plant now trying to get down as well, but Miggy gets over aggressive and finds Phantom. Just surprising considering he didn't think that there was a second player holding the crossfire, but the bomb comes down and a 3 versus 2 now for Clutch and Juby. Very, very difficult situation that could potentially lead to match point for Panthers. Juby making a very long route towards the back, but I think it's going to get watched. Snapple is there, but loses the gunfire. Wow, some good shots from Juby. The 2 versus 2. As we see them trying to reapproach this B site in the post plant. 26 seconds though, Zap.
Yeah, not a lot of time. Got to go quick. Got to work this pinch to perfection. The slide out, though, coming at the perfect time. 1v1 now. 15 seconds left to go. This is huge, but Miggy with the 2.
Wow.
With that dolphin dive to the side as well. Thank you, Omni Movement. What a great clutch round for Panthers.
Oh, it's so unfortunate for them as well, because I mean, you got to give credit to Kennesaw. They played that well, but over-aggressing on Miggy caused him to try and chell out, and that was just happened to be the timing that... I can't remember who the player was, but it slid in trying to chell that corner, and he just happened to be on the wrong side of the coin. Miggy grabs the kill, gets through, makes the right read around the rock, and yeah, unfortunate. I mean, that's a tough round for Kennesaw to lose. I was expecting them to win that, maybe take the retake, but Panthers had the advantage. They played it, they won it, and they've done it 5 times now, so I guess you can't really fault them. It's not really down to luck. And now we're going to see a Kennesaw attack. Glee immediately with a pick gets traded instantly. This bomb is still trying to find its way to B, and there's only 1 player here to try and stop it.
Yeah, massive push coming in here, and I wonder they are actually going to go straight for the plant. This will be a huge gunfight through mid as well. A 3v2 plant now, not the position you want to be in. If you're the side of Kennesaw, make that 3v1. This one looks all but done as this defuse is going to come in, and Kennesaw, you know, we can say, yes, they did play it right from time to time. Maybe could have taken a couple of more rounds, but also, you know, getting quite a few first bloods throughout the course of that and then not making full use of it, I think is something that needs to be looked at from them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, like, Panthers, looking pretty solid. I think the problem here was the Kennesaw, again, we saw how their playstyle was, and they tried to adapt, and they did. And I got to give them all credit there, but I think they were just uncomfortable playing in that situation, right? Like, I think that they play a certain way. It wasn't working. They've switched it up, but they're not used to playing like that. They're not used to that slow pace, tactical style where they have all these timings and things, right? The gunny's there for sure, right? They can hang with Panthers, no doubt about it. Maybe even better on the gunny at times, but you just saw a lot of those rounds. Panthers played it better. They had the right plays, the right reads. They were ahead of the curve because they know the timings. They play like that consistently. And Kennesaw, apart from that first round where they blitzed them, round 5 was really the consistent round that we saw them make a big change. And unfortunately, it didn't pay off from then, right? It just didn't go their way. And maybe it's lack of experience. Maybe it's a it's a lack of preparation. Maybe it's the map. Could be a multitude of factors here, but so far 2-0 for Panthers, and we're going to a control on Volt, which will be quite interesting. I don't know if I see this going the distance, and we might not even see a map 4 here, considering Panthers are pretty on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Panthers very much locked in throughout that search and destroy, and as we go into a Vault control, I think this is a map that is going to punish Kennesaw CoD, because you look at the side of Panthers, they've very much at times throughout the course of this series hit that flow state where all 4 players are just on a wavelength, where there's protecting each other, building each other up, trading out each other, bait and switches, whatever it would be. They have been on point with it at times, whereas Kennesaw, again, we have seen where they've been able to pick up some kills and as you say, outslay from moment to moment. But I think for the most part, it's sort of been, it's not like even in a narcissistic way, but sort of like individualism kills, right? They've had moments where a singular player has been able to pop off, and that's been due to what they've been able to create as a player rather than the situation that the team is creating, the opportunities that the team is creating for each other to, as a 4 or as a 3, do really well. And that can pull you through search and destroy sometimes, which is why we've seen, I think, a little bit more of a closer contested S&D from time to time. But for the most part, I think the Panthers, they've just proven that they can lock in together, and as a unit, as a team, will be able to get the job done in this series.
Well, we'll have to see. Map 3. Kennesaw really needs to pull something out here to stay in this series. But until then, we're going to send you guys to a quick break, and we'll be back with Map 3 very shortly. So do not go anywhere. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. Short break there, but we're here for map number 3. If you're just joining us, 2-0 up to Panthers. Looking pretty consistent so far in the hardpoint and search. 6-2 in the search. 251-64, I believe, in hardpoint, if my memory serves me correct. Now we're going to a control. If you're just joining us, I think the lay of the land is Kennesaw. Great gunfights, great attacking power. Unfortunately, outmatched by the tactics of Panthers. A bit of brain versus brawn. Brain coming out on top so far. Panthers, though, looking to try and attack very aggressively by the middle of the map, and they do find the trade. So 2-2 apiece so far in this control.
Yeah, coming out on the aggression. And again, we talked about this before going into the map. One of the areas that Kennesaw CoD may be able to take advantage of here and potentially be able to take this map from is being able to work those spawn traps by being able to reward themselves from their aggression, which again, we're already seeing killing spree of 5 coming in already, by the way. Terrific start from Lutch as he's just maneuvering his way around the map, trying to read the spawns. Going to get caught out in the timing though, and Panthers, you know, they're actually making their way towards B. They could potentially do some damage here, all of a sudden getting Kennesaw quite pinned back. But again, Lutch doing a good job just setting up, or I believe might have been Juby actually picking up those kills. And the Panthers haven't really made a dent at any one of these points so far. 20-24, Kennesaw have done a good job in the defense so far.
Yeah, definitely not going the way I expected on an attacking round, but attacks are difficult. Panthers now trying to get out of this spawn trap. This is something I mentioned before, where you kind of have to go all in. You can see all those arrows trying to push up, trying to set up the trap, really going all or nothing, but all it takes is that one wave of kills, and you can find yourself back on in. Lee showing himself, though, will get caught from the back line. And, I mean, it's a great series of kills, 20 seconds. Kennesaw just playing patient, making sure these players run to the iron sights. And really, Panthers, no answer to what Kennesaw is doing right now, which is just setting up the spawn trap and relying on their gunfights. That's something that really plays to their strength. And it's not surprising that it's won here with a 1-tick attack from Panthers. We may see him at 4 if this continues.
Yeah, I mean, Kennesaw, you couldn't have asked for a better start on the defensive end. Limit the amount of ticks, and Kennesaw doing that to perfection, really. As you said, only 1 tick on the Panthers. nullified in that round. But again, we did see a round number 1 on the search and destroy that didn't go the way of the Panthers, and they were quickly able to readjust. Again, was this first round just a bit of a lengthened adjustment period for Panthers? Now that they have a defense themselves, will they know how to play it? And more importantly, going back onto an offense, will they have learned from their mistakes and be able to play the round differently? Regardless, that's the future for the moment. Kennesaw, they have to take it round by round. So far, can pat them on the back for a good round 1, but plenty of work left to go.
Let's see if it's a similar story here for the attack of Kennesaw on this offense. And it looks like they might be heading towards a B hit, or at least Juby. Okay, trying to split the aggression here. Trying to make this difficult. And never mind, they go down the vault. They go for the B strat. They immediately hit this B zone. No one here to stop it from the side of Panthers. They try and respond as quick as possible, but there's a lot of players you have to deal with. Snapple going to get caught off guard, and this might be a B hit immediately and successfully. Unfortunately, the trophy doesn't get up in time. That might cost them. A lot of players now coming back in. You see Flicks, he's actually giving up on that A zone aggression to try and go to B. I don't think that was the play, because he has a lot of players that he has to try and cut down here. It's not going to go his favor, so already 2 ticks to Kennesaw. A great start, but at least the attack has been stunted for Panthers.
Getting those ticks on B goes absolutely huge. Now, meaning you can work on A, and if you get that A capture, aren't able to take the round, you're coming away with an attacking round where you manage to pick up 5 ticks as opposed to the 1 of Panthers. It essentially means Panthers are guaranteed to be stuck having to win an offensive round at some point. So already Kennesaw CoD playing immaculately on this fall control, which again, as you said, I think it's throwing the rule book out, right? We thought we kind of had an understanding of this series, an understanding of these teams, but that's just been completely nullified here as the Panthers 17-23. The KD's absolutely in the mud as Kennesaw CoD playing the aggression, and it's working for them as they look to put the finishing touches onto this B point. Huge gunfights coming up, and there you have it. Round number 2, the offense going to Kennesaw CoD. And I feel bad for the people who decided to go and get the water, because they'll have just missed a whole map by the time they get back, it looks like.
Hey, that's insane. The pace at which Kennesaw was able to apply their aggression is something to behold, right? And it's fun. It's a great watch. I mean, that's you can't deny it, and it's at least paying off for them here in the control. Usually, I would say that every team has a chance, but so far in this control, Panthers just getting outslayed. And I guess in control, you can get away with it pretty easily, right? There's not a whole amount of strategy when it comes to this game mode. There is somewhat. It's a lot of adaptation, right? Trying to split up A, B, where you're going to hit off the brakes and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, it usually comes down to win your gunfights, you'll get in on the point and be all right. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case in the hard point for Kennesaw, so they weren't able to get away with that other respawn, and they will be going to another hard point here on red card if they win this map, which they've just ended the game. Lovely. Nice restart for us, 2-0 up. But, yeah, I think that they're going to be looking pretty confident here. And this could be a big momentum thing, right, for them. They could be feeling that swing of the tide and riding that into the next maps. And maybe we see a map 5. I'm not entirely sure. But I do know for a fact, red card going to be very, very different to the first hardpoint skyline, almost an entirely different map. So whether that plays in Kennesaw's favor, I don't know. I would say on paper, no. But maybe they will be playing it well.
Yeah, I mean, I have to completely agree with you on that one. I think Kennesaw CoD benefit from this kind of route run stuff, which ultimately a fall control can give you so long as you win your initial gunfights and aren't being pushed too far back in any particular scenario. I mean, you know where people are going to be coming from, you know exactly the lanes to watch, you're able to get your timings locked down through that. I mean, if Kennesaw CoD were in a position where maybe they were pushed back a couple of times, for example, if they were on offense and were being forced out to P2 spawns, all of a sudden they've got to think more on their feet about the angles that they push, the timing they might get caught out in, and all of a sudden that introduces variables that they might not be able to deal with. And we have seen Panthers before be able to kind of throw Kennesaw CoD into those positions where they're just uncomfortable with how they play. But in saying that, you have to say that this particular map has been the most dominant performance of a map we have seen thus far in this series, way more than that game 1. I mean, this has been nothing short of an annihilation on this vault control. But going back to the point, the red card hard point, you have to agree with you. I think Panthers will be able to lean into their strengths more going into that map. They'll be able to reset after that map number 3, if of course they lose. Also be aware of the fact that, you know, they don't want to go to a map 5. They will not want to go to a vault search and destroy, especially after they're showing here on this map.
Yeah, so we're going to see if this continues after the brief reset. So still 2-0 up to Kennesaw, and our lovely producer has put up 2 points there to the scoreline, which is always much appreciated. Makes the immersion a lot better, but Flick's already in the back line now. This is what we saw from Kennesaw in the last attacking round from Panthers, and they were able to get caught, but Panthers actually slipped through. They've got to play themselves in the back line here that's able to get at least one. That'll stop any of that aggression, and they're able to find some success here early on A. And it doesn't surprise me, Panthers going for the safe approach, going for that A zone hit early, and it looks like it'll pay off. The contest comes through, and a lot of kills, never mind. A 4 down from Kennesaw to shut anything that Panthers had immediately, and they're all spawned towards pool, and they've at least got some time here. They've got some lives. But Kennesaw doing a great job of stopping the bleeding here on their defensive round.
Yeah, I mean, that was an absolutely huge 4 down that we just seen there. Although, mind you, back onto the point now. Could they do damage here? But should be picking up one, or I believe that was Flicks, actually. And 6-1 here to begin with. Again, the KD is looking really strong from Kennesaw CoD in this one. If Panthers can at least get A, they have the chance to work towards B. But you have to say, they'll only have like max maybe 1 minute 20 to do so, and not the lives, 12 versus 17. I think this one is a little bit too far gone now for Panthers. Unless they get a perfect 2 clean waves of kills, this map is going to go the way of Kennesaw, if I could speak. And I have to say, deservedly slow. They have slayed out this map and are well deserving of the win.
Yeah, Glee finding some big kills, and Kennesaw showing us that they have a little bit more to themselves than just you know, those 2 maps that we saw earlier. They do get the A zone, and that's time added. Some good shots from Glee. Does get dropped, though. That's a 4 down. Flicks gets 3 again, making a massive statement here on this control. That's a lot of lives lost. No respawns remaining. Now down to 2. And even a team kill on top of it. So Glee is a 1v11, which is not going to go their way. A 3-0 in control, making a very dominant performance from Kennesaw. And taking us at least to the map 4, which is a red card hardpoint, which I will be very interested to see.
Absolutely, and I mean, I have to say for the side of Panthers, at least 2 to 3 clean 4 downs there against them in that map. It's not what you want to see at all. I mean, certainly needing to go back to the drawing board when it comes to a vault control. But we talked about it. We've talked about map number 4, the red card hardpoint. We think it will suit Panthers more. Granted, we've been proven wrong. We were proven wrong in this map. We thought Panthers would be able to do it. What will scare the Panthers if that somehow, some way, they aren't able to come away with this map 4. All of a sudden, they go to a map 5, Vault Search and Destroy. They have just been completely dominated on the Vault control. And then going to a Vault S&D as well, it's even more one-dimensional in terms of the way you play. It can be more just straightforward. It's probably the most straightforward map in terms of what you need to get right that we have ever seen in a CoD so far. That is going to suit Kennesaw CoD so much in regards to how they've been playing. Just being able to get aggressive into a site, lock it down, get the bomb planted, and run down that timer, usually getting the first blood, which again, we've seen that they did through the Search and Destroy prior in Hacienda. So the stars are aligned for Kennesaw CoD to be able to get this reverse sweep, but the hardest challenge that they will have is up ahead with the red card hardpoint, because the Panthers can rely more on their tactics, how they like to rotate through the map, how they gather as a unit, as a 4. It suits them way more having this map that has way more obstacles, is sort of larger in size, and there's ultimately just more to do with, to where you can throw out the timings of your opposition. If Kennesaw CoD get through this, reverse sweep is most certain cards.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they've done enough for me to be convinced that they're going to win the red card and be a reverse sweep. I don't know if the brooms are coming out just yet. If they do win this red card, then maybe we see something a little bit different here on the Vault. I don't know. It's a tall order for Kennesaw regardless. We saw Panthers play a really consistent skyline, which is honestly, now looking back and seeing how the series has played out, seeing how Kennesaw play, is honestly pretty exceptional that they were able to be so dominant on a map like Skyline, considering they're not people who rely on their gunnies. They're not players that try and just outslay. They're pure, tactical, playing the fundamentals, rotate, set up, hold, play the easy gunfights, and you'll lead yourself to victory. Skyline is not a map notorious for that. Red card, on the other hand, very long rotations, very big setups, very big holds. it's not going to be the same story as Skyline. And Kennesaw is looking to come into that with the playstyle of, hey, we're just going to outslay you in every department. I just don't know if it's going to play the same thing. Maybe there's the argument that if Kennesaw is able to get the kills, the rotations, the kills are a lot more impactful because they have a longer time to get to each point. It's not just, you know, neck and neck in Skyline where they spawn right there. Maybe that's an argument. Maybe that's where they find their success. I don't know. But the subby presence was the biggest thing for Kennesaw on Skyline. And this is not a subby map. This is pretty much an AR's wet dream. And we're going to see it here for the side of Panthers and Kennesaw. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to put them down before the map started. I want to curse them. They do have momentum. They are on a different map. They have been looking good. We knew that they were outslaying them on the hard point. We're going to see if map 4 can get them to a map 5. Kennesaw need this to stay in this series. Both undefeated, both yet to lose in this CCL regular season so far. And this might be the one. Panthers looking to shut them down here.
Yeah, I mean, huge map, huge moment for both of these teams. But looking at the side of Kennesaw CoD, you know, trying to find those angles to where they come away with the win. I do think at times unpredictable spawns could serve them really well, because if anyone can point out how the P3 spawns actually work as of yet, please do let me know, because they're a mystery to me. But as we go on to P1 in this game 4, we'll see who comes out at the top of the point. Already start early, mostly or somewhat checkerboard kill feed. Glee picking up a nice 2, but then getting taken out. Very back and forth to the hill, but ultimately Kennesaw CoD alive on the point and getting that initial time, although Panthers now on, but not for long.
Well, Juby's trying to stay alive, trying to get this time for the side of Kennesaw. Again, the AR is going to be the most important thing here, the most important factor. I guess that plays into Kennesaw's game plan with having some good AR gunfights. Relations able to break into this point with the help of Glee. Getting a little over-aggressive there, if I say so myself, but Snapple's there to clean up the mess. No real time, but P2 spawns are in the favor of Panthers as they will set up towards New, as Snapple just plays old, and they have to deal with him pretty quickly as well, because he can stop a lot of these rotators, and that's what we might see here as well, as he tries to play his life. He's finally gets caught in the middle, but wow, lasts a lot longer than I would have thought.
Yeah, for sure, and Kennesaw CoD trying to get near to this point. They are still alive, they are picking up kills, and I have to say, one thing that has impressed me now throughout the games as they've improved, they're playing a little more patient when it's coming to the kills. Like, yes, it's still a very aggressive playstyle, but they're not over-trialing corners they shouldn't be. They play patient, they wait for their opportunity, they wait for the backup of their teammates, and they pick up those kills. So it's not just individual aggressiveness anymore. They're actually doing it together as a unit, and it's servicing them far better than it did at the beginning. 24-23, taking that small lead. It's now going to be a huge set of rotations over to the P3. Panthers, of course, have that one relatively locked down for the moment, but it'll be interesting to see if anyone from Kennesaw CoD goes on that deep rotation. I'm looking at Juby, who's making his way through mid. It's looking like he may try to go deeper on the back, hard to say, but Kennesaw CoD already getting moved up quite aggressively to try and break into this next point.
Yeah, massive series of kills that Kennesaw were able to grab, get themselves into that P2. Now they're on the rotation here again. Juby gets caught. These picks go towards Panthers, and they're able to lock in this time now. It's going to be on to Kennesaw to break. Phantom might be that opening thread, the tip of the spear. Flix gets on in now as well. No one really grabbing time. A massive kill there. A team nade, unfortunately, but Panthers get broken in again. And this is the danger that we were talking about. Maybe there's an angle that they still get these kills and make the spawns too far back, too deep. And no matter how well you are on rotations, it won't matter if Kennesaw are able to outslay you. And that's what we're seeing. We saw it in the Skyline. It didn't go to their way. Panthers, though, struggling here on red card.
I mean, these spawns are still just an absolute mystery. Unless I misleave right at the beginning of that point, Lutz just right in the back for absolutely no reason. Panthers were still set up. Kennesaw CoD were trying to just go for that break, and it just flipped. I mean, it just, especially on that point, it's one that could be so all over the place. And I think with Kennesaw, when it comes to that short range all over the place, they will revel in that. They'll revel in the aggression and being able to catch Panthers off guard from an angle, orchestrate those pinches. It has to be said, while Panthers and picking up these kills from time to time, it is Kennesaw now being way more efficient with their time, which we've seen sort of the polar on that map one, right? It was Kennesaw who, at least for the second half of it, were picking up a lot of those kills. Were starting to really dominate, especially through Lutz, if I'm correct. He was nearly on a 40 bomb, but Panthers were getting way more of that time. But in saying all of that, Panthers have done a great job on this point so far.
Yeah, and I gotta say, in a very awkward situation as well. Like, 3 of them were down bottom in the stage, and they were able to get out, reset, regroup. Miggy trying to get maybe some of these shots down. Panthers able to lock in this time, at least evens them up, and it's a big kill to get them back in this map. Again, Kennesaw are the ones with the real pressure. They need this to stay alive in the series, keep that undefeated streak. However, Juby now going to be pressing the attack, trying to pinch this point. Snapple in a very awkward position. Could pay dividends for him if it goes his way. Panthers do get the time, so now it's on the Kennesaw to break. They are looking much better here as they get a little bit deeper into this red card.
Yeah, maybe Panthers just took them a couple of hills to get warm on this map. But in saying that, Kennesaw CoD now picking up a big 3, meaning they have complete control of this point, and they're going to have a read of the spawns, so they know where to be looking. But that is a big first blood in this wave of kills coming through from Glean. Able to, hopefully for them, pick up these better positions. But Juby doing a great job as well on the side. And Kennesaw CoD, they held on. The kill feed is checkerboarded, but now going to go the way of the Panthers. The Panthers have been getting better throughout this mapping.
Flick's now in, trying to get some good picks. Not happening. Snapple still live with the pistol. Not happening either. Miggy trying to trade this out, and they do get on in, but it's a little too late. Not a lot of time to be grabbed here. And they've got to get over towards New, which you can see Kennesaw are on the back foot of as they go to the second set of rotations. Flick's on this top side looking for these picks, and they find them. Kennesaw time and time again are finding some crucial engagements and making this really difficult for Panthers to do and play how they want to.
Absolutely, as Kennesaw CoD now reach over that 100-point mark. Has to be said, they are really just a polar opposite side from what we've seen in that first hard point in just regards to actually just being able to get the time for all the hard work that they've done in that first hard point of being able to pick up the kills. Being able to make it count, it's a world of difference, and potentially going to take us to a map 5, which again I just think suits them way more in how they want to play. But Panthers, of course, having plenty of time to pull this one back around, but they will need to stop the likes of Juby, who is 23 and 13, now beginning to rack up some time on the hill himself. But Flicks as well with 30 seconds, 16 and 10. Phantom as well, 17 and 17. But Panthers picking up a couple of kills there, set up for P2. And we've seen that when Panthers get set up on the point, they can get a lot of time back through clean holds. If they get another somewhat decent clean hold here and get rotations through, next thing you know, they're in the lead and looking confident going into the back half.
Looks coming on in, trying to break this in. Panthers doing a great job of at least keeping up with Kennesaw. All it takes is that one wave down, that one kill that could launch them into the stratosphere here and get that lead, but Kennesaw not allowing it to happen, making sure that they can see that map 5. They need that vault. They need this series. Wanting it bad right now. So close of a score. Panthers will a slight lead if they're able to lock in this time. They need to worry about New, but the break comes on in actually from Kennesaw, from up top as well, and Relations gets dropped, netting Kennesaw some good time here. They've got to worry about rotations. Maybe sending number 5 there would be crucial, which they will do. It's a bit of scrap for Kennesaw, but Panthers need to win this fight on the break if they're looking to stay in this. Otherwise, we'll see another repeat. What we saw in the last set of rotations where Kennesaw are just able to extend that lead and that deficit even further for Panthers.
Yeah, we sort of had a race to P3 now, where both sides kind of got there at the same time at either side. So it's sort of a fight for the back spawns. The back spawns, of course, that don't matter because they'll make no sense anyway. If you don't believe me, trust me. Keep an eye on those spawns for the next 60 seconds. They'll make no sense. But Lutch trying to push through, trying to get this break again. And it is lucky to be a very clean hold as they are painting the feed. And look at that spawn flip, folks. Lutch all of a sudden in the back. Why? Explain to me why. I don't know. But now they have a chance to pinch through, potentially get into this point. But again, Panthers doing a great job now of locking the point down. Relations and Miggy both on streaks. They just get a couple of more that have Hellstorms to work with for the back half, which could be huge.
Yeah, P3 is like my sleep paralysis demon. It's brutal to watch. Glee, and there's nothing you can do either. You just sit there and let it happen. They're able to lock in the time. Panthers good at adaptation here on this red card, and we've seen it throughout the series as well. Doobie now trying to cut off these rotators. Could do a bit of damage, but he's got to be careful as well. This could net a pinch coming through from the spawns and make this very awkward if he gets caught. Snapple able to push in towards this point now. Phantom, though, with that hold, will stop anyone from getting across. Massive AR gunfights coming in from the side of Kennesaw. Flips from up top as well, able to get some big picks. It's a massive flurry of attacks from Kennesaw as they lock in this time and make Panthers really pay the price for not getting that rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. Panthers could very much be punished here as that feed is yellow. It was all yellow as Coldplay once told you. He picks up another 2 as they look to slay out here at a crucial point in this hard point. Looking very much like they get over that 200 point mark now and get rotated over to this P5. Huge wave of kills, but they've got momentum when they needed it the most. Juby was, I believe, on a 6 streak there before getting taken out. This is going to be huge. Lutches, he picks up 2. Now going to be trying to get around the back. 50 points in the difference as we go to the final hill or 2 of the game.
Yeah, this is locking in for Kennesaw. We could potentially see a map 5 on the cards. Panthers all in this choke point. At least Clutch is able to get 1, which is surprising. And he's just clocked him in the head with a Semtex, and that counts as a kill. I didn't even know they had a PNG for that type of kill in this game, but apparently they do. I don't know what's happening. 2-10. Now, extending the lead. Kennesaw looking good on this point. Phantom getting aggressive. They're all in flow state. They're all feeling it. A 4 streak for Phantom as well. Finally gets dropped. Miggy comes swinging with a 3-piece in the back. Wow. What is happening on this hard point? It's not enough to take down Kennesaw, though. As much firepower as you have, you're only going to get about 19 seconds of time at best as you go towards you. And Kennesaw might be sending us to a vault search and destroy here momentarily as they lock in this time and set up towards new P1, the 3rd set of rotations. Round and round we go again.
And Kennesaw are just absolutely loving how this one is playing at the moment. The Panthers playing right into their hands. They have just grown and grown in series, trying to generate this reverse sweep and arguably getting through the biggest challenge. But in saying that, Panthers do not want to go down without a fight. 164 to 138. They're holding this P1, picking up the kills. But now, break could potentially come in. But again, they're still holding. It has to be perfect from here on in. But I have seen crazier things as they pick up another 3. Will Kennesaw CoD just relax on the push of this hill and get ready for P2? Or will they go for the break to try and get it done now?
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, P1's getting some good time. A team kill comes through. Some more kills from the blue side. Snapple as well in there, keeping Panthers alive. 20 seconds. They'll need a whole hill here. P2 spawns as well in for Kennesaw. So this is a tall order if I've ever seen one. They are still trying to approach this P1 because they could have won off of it. Juby as well set themselves very nicely here on the side of Kennesaw. They've locked in new rotation, so they have about 9 seconds to get in, get the break, and make something happen. It's not going to be easy. Flix is up top. Phantom shutting everything down. A 2-piece. The last player left gets shut down immediately. There is a spawn in the back. They know that they're spawning. 4 seconds, and there's nothing they can do. Map 5, here we come. Vault, search and destroy. Kennesaw come swing, and the brooms are out. The sweep is coming through. Map 5 will be the decider, which is their weakest game mode. It would be absolutely insane if they're able to grab it.
Yeah, Kennesaw rising from ashes here. What a comeback from them. I mean, going into this map, I thought if they were going to take this one, they were going to sneak it, right? It'll be point job, it'll be a lucky full hold, a nice 4 down that swings it. Well, they were largely dominant throughout that map, right? I mean, again, you could say maybe for the first couple of points, a little bit back and forth, but once they got into that flow state, Juby, 45. Again, 32 non-traded kills as well, nearly 5,000 damage. I mean, you talk about a player just needing to bring that team performance. It is certainly him. He is him, right? But I also got to say, the difference that we have seen in Kennesaw CoD now throughout this series is that when we see moments where they were slaying in game 1, we talked about it already. It felt like they were slaying as individuals. It felt like it was 3 pieces that was amounting to nothing because the 4th was never coming through and they were still never getting the time from it. But now they're all slaying as a unit. They have found that cohesion. They have clicked. They're making the kills count on top of being able to a lot of those. And taking a look at this graph, as you can see, it was pretty close with that 1 point Panthers getting in the lead, but not for long as Kennesaw CoD soared from that, I believe, second P4 on. A phenomenal performance of them, and with the momentum and the wind at their sails going Alt S&D, the cards and the stars are aligned for them to take this one. But again, I don't think Panthers are going to go down without a fight. I think it's going to be a hell of a map 5.
Yeah, Jubilicious popping a 45 bomb. I mean, it's just casual for him, man. On a red card as well. It's not like there's crazy amounts of players. And then we go into a vault. I mean, this was, I'm not even gonna lie, I'll say it how it is. It was a mid-series at the start. Now it's an absolute banger. We're coming into a vault search and destroy map 5. It is going to be spicy. I mean, Kennesaw, 2 back-to-back, making Panthers, you know, and I might as well say it. The control was just as dominant as the search and destroy was for Panthers against Kennesaw. And now we've come into a hard point. It was fairly close, but I mean, all things considered, Kennesaw really took off there in the hard point, looking pretty in control almost the entire time. Only losing lead there for a smidgen in the middle. And now we're going to a vault, search, and destroy. We've only seen one search. Wasn't good for Kennesaw. It was a very awkward, one-dimensional type of play style. We talked about it when we were in that map. Coming into a vault, I know you talked about it before we started, looking at the series, and it's a good point to kind of work off of it. It's a bit of a one-dimensional map in itself, right? There are a lot of routes. There's a lot of plays. You can switch it up, but a lot of the time it is just going to be forcing the hand of, we're going A, we're playing the bomb, we're going to post plan, now you've got to run in and try and kill us. That plays into Kennesaw's favor really well here, and we could potentially see, a reverse sweep come through. And what would be massive, we've got Panthers drilling their bodies at the end of the search and destroy, just filling them with lead. There's nothing you can do about it. If you're Kennesaw, they go, okay, cool. We're going into the control, 3-0 slamming, twerking on them. We go into the hard point, pretty good hard point, all things considered, looking pretty solid. Now we go into the last search and destroy. It is a spicy, spicy series. If this goes round 11, I mean, I don't know what I'll do. I'll do a backflip or something. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a good end to the series, and I'm glad that we see it for the first one up. We've still got 2 more matches here, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're feeling good about this series, I hope you're ready, because this is just the start. It's the start of the day, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's only just getting started, I mean, that is just a testament level that is here in college CoD throughout all of these teams, and it's going to be a fantastic evening for sure. But going into this map 5 as well, and I have to throw a little bit of a bone to Panther. I have been saying Kennesaw CoD, yes, it's a one-dimensional map of vault search and destroy. It should suit the way that they've played, being able to just get aggressive up onto a bomb site and sort of rinse and repeat the play. It could work, but could that one-dimensionalness come back to bite them, in the sense that if Panthers find a way to lock them down, if they find a way to adjust, which they did in the Hacienda search and destroy, Kennesaw CoD could be able to do anything different? Because one, it's a map that kind of punishes you for trying to do anything different, and Kennesaw CoD as a team have struggled to do much different on top of that. So maybe all those combinations of factors could lead to Kennesaw CoD very quickly having no answers to the way that the Panthers will play. I'd be surprised if that is the way it does work. I believe Kennesaw CoD, especially in the offense, will be able to force the site well, but if Panthers find the answer, it might be the answer to carry them through the map.
Well, we're going to have to find out. We're going to send to a quick break. Unfortunately, chat, we've just blue balled you. I was expecting for this game to get underway immediately, and it wasn't. So we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be here very, very shortly. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back with map 5 here in a minute. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. We are here, you bloody legends. Map 5. It is going to be 2-2. Potential reverse sweep here for Kennesaw if they win it. If not, Panthers shutting down the hopes and dreams of everyone who is a fan of Kennesaw in the chat. Slow start, strong finish. And that's what matters in this map. And their teammates aren't switched. Just, yeah, I was about to say, they're going to switch back in immediately. So, coming on in. Already some big engagements here on this A site. Clutch in. Looking to get that kill, and Snapple in a 1 versus 3. Already a crazy start.
Yeah, and kind of almost exactly like we predicted, Kennesaw were going to get aggressive onto the point, and absolutely did so. Now just going to be able to play around it, wait for Snapple to make his move, and sort of a nearly impossible challenge here. Going to go in and try for this break, and has been spotted. It's not looking good for Snapple, is having to back out again. Staying alive, maybe trying to force a little bit of patience for Kennesaw, but ultimately getting dealt with there. Great first round from them.
Yeah, I mean, Kennesaw coming out swinging. We talked about how this might play into their one-dimensional playstyle. I shouldn't really write it off as that. It's a little bit rude now that they've won 2 maps. I should just say their playstyle of running and gunning, right? It's not necessarily one-dimensional, but it's a dimension that you can really control if you're Kennesaw, right? Panthers looking a little bit more abstract in it. Now, 1-0 up, Kennesaw in this map 5, doing everything. I mean, man, the lip that's going to come out at the end of this game from Kennesaw, man, I just wish I was in the chat, because down in APAC in Australia, there's some words that would get you cancelled immediately that get said at the end of these games. I would not be surprised. The bodies that were getting shot, the BM that was happening from the side of Panthers in the start of this match, all the way for Kennesaw to come out and potentially reverse sweep them here in a map 5 would be incredible, and I am all here for it. I'll instigate it even. And bomb down in a post plant on B. Kennesaw looking very, very solid here as they take down the last remaining players. Relation in a 1v2. Looking to clutch this out with 20 seconds left. It's not looking too likely.
I have to say, I absolutely loved this play for CoD. You've been touted as a team throughout this entire series, that the type of team that, if it came to a vault search and destroy, would just be the type to run straight toward that A bomb. But what do? They drop vault, they get to hit that ball. There's a couple of trades here and there, but it ultimately goes their way. And now you've casted doubt into the mind of Panthers. Now Panthers are going to have to be aware that that B push is a possibility. They're going to have to spread out a little more, which means Kennesaw, if they get aggressive as a 4, will be able to barrel down whatever site they want and most likely be able to play trades there in numbers. It was the perfect play for them that may have just blown open this entire series unless Panthers can successfully adjust.
Already 4 stacked towards the bottom of the vault, looking to try and contest this A site. Not going to happen. Kennesaw able to back up. 2-0 up to Kennesaw, looking super good on the search and destroy. A different beast to what we saw in the Hasi. Nade's coming out. Not looking to try and take them out yet. It's very passive round. They're still yet to get the bomb down. Scared to pull that trigger, but it is only really one player in that A site. They might be looking to try and swing over to B. Don't overcomplicate it. Just get it down, play the post plant, and you'll be solid. Kennesaw evening things up to a 3-3.
I mean, a great position now for Panthers, getting this bomb down, and Phantom picking up a huge kill there as well. And they are just snapping now, Kennesaw CoD. Fully switched on at this point, just leaving Glee the last alive in the bomb with 30 seconds left to defend. It's going to pick up one, though. Great play now. We're going to have to in the second. Willie, though, Phantom's going to get in onto the site, and just about killing. There comes the body shots. Oh, you love to see it.
Damn, man. Drilling that body with the Strider, just making it known. 3-0 up. Panthers mental has to be in the gutter, man. Like, yeah. Oh, there's nothing worse. And I'll quote someone who is quite infamous in APAC that no one would ever know in this chat, but don't talk until the series is over. It is a well-known fact. Shout out to Dirtev. I mean, it was a very, very tense moment at LAN. Everyone was chatting. Ends up he comes out on top, and don't talk till the series is over. Don't shoot the bodies. Don't get excited, because you might pay for it, and that's what we're seeing here. Kennesaw up 3-0, halfway there, looking to try and make this flawless so far in the search and destroy. They are in flow state. They're moving. They're shooting. Panthers looking scared, and then they just can't do anything towards it. A already down on the bomb. Big kill from Phantom there. Traded immediately, but you're in the post plan. 30 seconds worth of it.
I mean, Kennesaw CoD is in a position where they have made Vault playground throughout this series, as they've just picked up every crucial kill they need to. Now, this huge moment. 1v1, 50 to play. Is he going to go for the defuse? Most likely not. That bomb is planted in a precarious position. He's just going to be able to run down this clock, picking up that kill. And a 4-0 now. This has been flawless. And as you're saying, the body shots just, you know, donating some extra lead to people, I would say, is probably the nicest way that you could put it. But I mean, you talk about momentum, you talk about just being in a flow state, everything going your way, feeling yourself. I mean, the Kennesaw CoD, they're the tip top of the mountain right now.
I mean, I gotta say that they've got a schedule to keep. 1 p.m. my time. I think it's 9 p.m. For all the people watching. EST. You know, that's 2 minutes away. He's looking to close it out here. 4-0. Kennesaw just absolutely demolishing any chance of victory for Panthers. They trade out. The pinstripe kill feed comes on through. It's a 2 versus 2 relation. Still yet to get the bomb down. Juby now going to press the attack here towards the A site. You've got a pinch potentially here from Clutch. They swing this over towards B. It's not a terrible strategy. Now they get the bomb down for free, potentially. But this could open things up for a bit more of an awkward plan. And Clutch is going to make them pay here. Shots come out. Not quite the kill. He has to back up with his life. He's getting chased down immediately. A big kill from Miggy. Now it's going to be Juby up in the back. We've seen Jubilicious with the 45 last map. Can he clutch it out here in a 1 versus 2 to keep the flawless streak alive? And they swing it back onto A. Round and round we go.
Panthers made the really clever decision there of re-rotating to A. The numbers advantage in what is an easier side, arguably, to hold will leave Juby with a lot to do, but if there's any player that could do it, it would be him. And also having the RCXD in the back pocket as well. Surprised that he deployed at some point, but, or maybe I'm saying I'm surprised, maybe that would have been the completely wrong play. I mean, there's a reason I'm not playing. There's a reason I ended up a caster. Those who don't do teach, those who don't teach talk. As Juby tries to boot this side, only 15 seconds to do so. Going to pick up one, but a 2v1 scenario when they're easy trade, and Panthers getting a big first round back. They've got plenty more to do.
I mean, I gotta say it. Kennesaw, you made me eat my words. They're gonna watch this back, and they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be pretty proud of themselves. They hear us talking about how dead the series was at the start. Panthers just running away with it, looking solid. They come into control. Maybe we see a map 4. Maybe they don't win the map 4. Now we're in the map 5, and they are 4-1 up, looking solid. Panthers saving grace here, at least around on the board. Stop them from match point. You have a little bit of wiggle room, but it needs to be round by round here. Brick by brick, as some would say. Green wall. And now they get the bomb down, so Kennesaw already looking good, but the first blood does get found, and Relation swings on in with a nice two-piece of himself. Hold the phone. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, because we might not be done yet. It's a clean round from Panthers, and Kennesaw getting shut down. Maybe the mental being regained. You can see the fist bumps go out right now. They're looking locked in. They're looking solid. Panthers not going down yet.
Mentality will be, they're not playing against the wall, they're playing against the yellow snow. I'll try to sneak this back on around, and that's the way you have to play it. It's the way you have to treat it, one round at a time, as they kind of have locked in at a crucial moment. And if Kennesaw CoD could take one more round here, being within touching distance, they might give enough of a leeway. But if Panthers take 3 in a row, then as a fan of Kennesaw CoD, you get really worried. So this round is massive. Also, an RCXD in the hand of Relations. Look like they're going to go for the quick plant here, or at least the side, but them around side blood could be massive, and it goes the way of Phantom.
Wow. Loose Titans, Miggy getting caught off guard. Relations able to get one back for himself. 3 versus 3. Bomb still yet to go down. A tense match to be sure. This round looking even tenser. Phantom with an 8 in, but the trophy systems are there. Not going to get much done. And now they're in post plant. 40 seconds left for Kennesaw to make something happen in this round. You see a player on the bomb getting pressured out, and Snapple as well, trying to get a little bit maybe over aggressive there. No, he's going to play patient. And Glee with some nice movement, still making this awkward for Kennesaw, but Juby comes on in, is able to get 2. It's massive now. Snapple in the 1 versus 2 gets caught off guard, and Juby comes on swinging. What is happening from Juby? Now we go to match point. Now Kennesaw are really feeling the pressure. It's just all coming into it. The shake of the head. No. When you're up against Juby, you can never be safe. You're not trapped in there. He's not trapped in there with you. You're trapped in there with him, essentially, right? He just runs in. My goodness, man. What is happening in this series?
Yeah, he just slid there easy as 1, 2, and 3. And this series has us for a loop. As soon as you guess which one to go, as soon as you have an idea, it just completely shakes it up. And again, we've talked about Kennesaw CoD having individual moments of quality and how that can pull you through in a search and destroy. Juby may have just had a moment that has won his team the reverse sweep of this series as they try to take on this offense. Looks like they're going to be a huge moment for them.
Still or die now. Bomb going down from Kennesaw. They're switching up the playbook. Relations gets dropped. That's the first and second blood. Glee drops as well. Kennesaw looking to try and make this reverse sweep a reality. It's all up to Miggy. He does get the planner. He's in an awkward situation. Miggy finds 2. Still alive. No idea where the last player is. Does read this the play behind. Miggy's still alive. Looking for the 1, but it's not enough. Kennesaw shutting everything down and making sure Panthers let it be known. 6-2, the exact same scoreline we saw in the last Search and Destroy, but on the coin flip, Kennesaw with one of the most dominant performances in a series in the back half I've ever seen after getting absolutely wiped, destroyed in the first 2 maps, and the brooms were out. It is over. Juby, my goodness, this man turned up for his squad, making it known you cannot be safe when Juby is around. This guy is a threat. He is dangerous, and he will make sure that you pay for any mistake that you could make. Wow, what a series to end things off.
Yeah, you just have to say massive congratulations to Kennesaw CoD and commiserations to the Panthers, who, let's not forget, played an immaculate series as well. From time to start off that series incredibly well, but Kennesaw CoD just turned it up a level, giving the Panthers their first loss of the season as remain flawless. I mean, what just a phenomenal series with Juby absolutely popping off as well. Revenge, it was sweet for them, as you say, taking it 6-2 as well, as it was done to them on that Hacienda search and destroy. And honestly, they just have to take a bow. I feel like they've proved a lot of people wrong who are watching here today. They certainly proved us wrong as casters, you know, thinking we had them all figured out, thinking that we knew what they were going to do. And you're absolutely right. Maybe to call it one-dimensional. It's that run and gun strategy. It's straightforward in talk. It's a little more difficult in practice, but they most certainly made it work in this. And we're also just maybe a little bit slow to the races to begin with at the beginning of this series, because when you saw them got into flow state and when everything was just working out for them, they really hit another level. And you just gotta say a massive congratulations to them, because it was such an entertaining series to watch as well. I mean, I'd like to say from start to finish, but as we said at the start, you know, it was a little bit like, okay, you know, we're going to go, but then as going out, things got completely switched around, and it ended up being what could be the most entertaining series of the night. I don't want to say that concretely though, is because we know the teams that are coming up next, you bang out games to come this evening, but man, what a great way to start the first series.
Yeah, I mean, it's a one for the ages. I mean, that was unreal, at least in my opinion. If it's going to go best of 5, either have something like that or a very, very close series where it goes around 11 and there's tense and there's, you know, all that. But I got to say, Panthers getting a little bit overzealous in the beginning. I'll be the first to say it. Shooting bodies, feeling confident, and look at them now. There's a 1 where the 0 used to be, 6-1. It just doesn't look as good as 7-0, I gotta say. I mean, that 7-0 is clean, man. Kennesaw are gonna be feeling good. I'm sure that they'll be talking, you know, a bit of smack somewhere. Okay, never mind. I've just seen that the one of the players had their messages deleted. Maybe getting a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too excited. But yeah, man, what a series. Some great stuff from Kennesaw. Panthers, I mean, I gotta give them credit. They played super well at the start. A lot of potential for the squad. Just unfortunately not here today. And that'll be it from us for the first map. We've got a second and third coming up here shortly. We're going to send it to a break, but it's been an absolute pleasure, Zep. And there's plenty more college COD to come. So don't go anywhere, guys.